What's going on, world? Coming at you guys again. We got another quick video. Friends to enemies. Let's talk about it. So, Officer Tatum continuously pushes forward supporting his subjective opinion about the mysterious death of Nolan Wales and the individuals whom were around him allegedly um, before he passed away, and possibly while he passed away and after he passed away. Again, allegedly, because I don't know for certain. But, he's on this trip about how Nolan Wales primarily really only had white friends. And all his photos are, primarily these white friends that are currently under suspicion by the public. I don't know about the criminal justice system. I don't know about law enforcement, But, he keeps going on this narrative that we're not giving Nolan Wales a voice based off of, him spending a night over his friend's house. These individuals that he was with, allegedly. And this is his second year going to this situation, this island, for summer festivities. And we're supposed to just give the benefit of the doubt that once a friend, always a friend. I don't know what fantasy land Officer Tatum lives in, but the reality of the situation is you can go from being a friend to an enemy like that. I mean, overnight. The reality of the situation is, for me personally, I had a cousin that, I had a great relationship with his mother. And I've never had any issues with this guy at all whatsoever, And, my father told me that my cousin referred to me as a nigger. Hard ER. And this could be, I could be wrong, because my father may have lied or he may have misinterpreted because, maybe he didn't drop the hard ER. Maybe he just dropped the hard A. If you don't know, my father is Caucasian, like 110% Caucasian. But, after my father informed me of that, the reality of the situation is how could you engage with a person after a comment like that? I've never known my father to tell a lie. I've known my father to be the most honorable person I've ever met. And, I've tried to emulate myself after my father by being the most loyal and upstanding and honest person that I could possibly be. So, when you talk about a friend is always a friend, he spent the night over his house. They went to trips together and, all the rest of this extra stuff. I know from personal experience that you can have a friend that you swore was, had your back through thick and thin, only to find out that, they were talking in a manner to other people about you in a manner in which, emasculated you. So, the reality of the situation is when you have an individual like that and you have a conversation confronting that individual and the individual doesn't deny it, then how can you still be friends with that person? In the black community, they call it fake. They call it being two-faced. So for Officer Tatum to say that Nolan Wales was friends with these guys just because they had pictures together or, past historical events, the reality of the situation is nobody knows what happened out there on that island. I don't know what happened out there at that island. But to presume and say because of historical interactions, they maintained their friendship up until the end, that's just fucking irresponsible.